All right, welcome back to the Range Minded Podcast. Listen, I need to apologize to you guys. Hopefully the sound is a lot better. We had some small issues. I just had to turn to my volume, looked like it was hitting pretty hard. So last week I did record a show. There was an issue with the audio. It was really, really, really bad. So I had gone all the way through an hour worth of show, and I got it ready to go. I listened to it before I uploaded it, and it was so bad. So then I came back to this, and I decided I'd try it again with a different way to do things, and it was terrible. It was awful. Well, that's not true. That's not quite true. The audio was definitely better, but I was using a different software to record the show, and when I got... So the first show, I was done. Like I said, I had about 56 minutes, 54 minutes of content. So, and it sounded great. But when I heard it, obviously, like I said, it was so bad. So in frustration, I used a different recording software. But for some reason, I was probably 35, 40 minutes into recording the second iteration, whatever you want to call it, the second time of that show, that episode. And for some reason, it stopped recording at just under 10 minutes. And let me tell you, I was super frustrated. By that time, it was after midnight, and I just said, it is what it is. So I owe you guys 2 shows. So this show, I don't know if it's going to be more than roughly an hour or not. I guess we'll see. But we'll consider this. Well, I guess it's still going to be 1 episode. So I can't really consider it 2 episodes, but maybe you're just getting a bargain. You're going to get 2 episodes for the price of 1. How about that? That sounds pretty fair, right? All right. So let's jump into it. You guys having a good year, by the way? Has February been good for you guys? You might notice if you're watching on video, Steve, you might be missing something. Well, I'll tell you a little story about that before we even get started. This is kind of how my year's just kind of, 2024 is just working its way with me. So I had a pretty good goatee going, and I started growing in the sides of my beard, right? And it was looking pretty good. It was really actually quite thick, a little gray, but it is what it is. So the other day I decided I couldn't find the beard trimmer I used to have. I think it must have died or something. And then my electric razor, it does have a trimming attachment, but it just wasn't working. So I decided I need to get a dedicated facial hair trimmer. So I did that, and it works great. As you can see, it probably works too great. I was working on my mustache, I was just cleaning up the lines, making stuff look good, and for some reason I slipped, and I took a lot out of one side of my mustache. So then I'm like, okay, I'll just use the attachment, the combs, the different length attachment for the comb thing, right? You know what I'm talking about. It goes on the clippers. Well, that wasn't working very well, so I had to keep going shorter and shorter and shorter. Apparently, it was a really good clip out of my mustache. And then finally, out of frustration, I was just like, whatever, I'm starting all over again. And so I did. I shaved it all off. I left the stubble here. Maybe you can hear it. I left the stubble of the goatee, but it's coming back. But I mean, it is what it is, right? That's actually that's the last time I did that. Is the same thing happened. I screwed up on tidying it up, and I just shaved it all off in frustration. I should have just kept the goatee portion, the bottom, but it is what it is. It's gone now. I can't. I can get it back. It'll just take me 2 months to get to that point again. Anyway, besides the point. By the way, welcome back. I don't know if I said that yet. I'm glad to have you guys here. 2024 is the year of the podcast. I keep saying that because I'm excited to make things happen. I really want this show to go somewhere this year. We've been at it since 2018. It is high time that we make this show go somewhere. And this is where I need your help. Usually I do this right at the end of the show, but we're going to throw it in right at the beginning and probably the end, honestly, too. This is where I need your help. This is where you guys come in. So if you like the content of the show, and I promise you, we're going to have more guests this year by far than last year. I actually have a few people that I haven't really called them yet, but they're coming on. They just don't know it yet. So We're gonna have more guests. We're gonna talk about a lot more things. I think I'm gonna actually jump back into the old little handgun competition stuff again. I was talking to Adam from Spartan Mode, a good buddy of mine. He's starting to shoot more pistol matches, and so I think I might jump in with him every now and then and shoot a match or two. That's something I haven't done in quite a while, so it's well needed. So there's going to be content on that. I do have a question for you guys, and this would be great if I can make this happen. I got invited to go to GunCon this year, which is in at the Brownells headquarters in Iowa. That's in June. Yeah, the end of June. So I would love to go, but the thing is, it's got to all work out great. So if you guys are willing to help out with that, that'd be awesome too. I hate begging for money because it sounds like I'm begging for money, but these things cost money. And in order for me to do that, I need help from viewers like you. So it's up to you. I'm not requiring, there's no requirement of donation, obviously, but I would love to take you guys with me to GunCon. Patches are coming still. I promise you that's not a lie. I'm trying to find some good leather to do that limited run leather patch. I am going to do that as well. I just got to find some local leather. I haven't had time to drive around Idaho Falls here and find a leather guy. So that's coming too. I have a couple of leads there, but it's just me getting off my ass and getting there to do it. Shall we get into the show? Are you tired of me just rambling on for whatever minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes now? Okay. Whoa. And my computer's tired of me too. See, you heard it chime in on its own. Okay. Let's jump into this first thing. Now, this was from the previous episode that I tried to bring you guys. So the ATF has been up to some shenanigans. Let me open up this window. Up to no good. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, they're always up to no good. Well, this time some stuff has been brought back to light again, meaning they've tried this and done this before and got in trouble. But it's happening again. So in 2018, through some congressional oversight, they found out that the ATF, well, actually it wasn't through oversight, it was through some whistleblowers. There were a couple whistleblowers that came forth and said, hey, the ATF is wasting lots and lots of money. And through the whistleblowers' accounts, we found out that the ATF has not misclassified, I guess it would be misclassified, but took some people from HR and clerical stuff and turned and said that they were law enforcement individuals, meaning they bumped up a pay grade or 2 or 3. So I guess the legal side, law enforcement side of the ATF, that's their classification is in the 1800 bracket, whatever that means, 1801. You know what I'm saying. That was the 1800 series of payment classifications are the law enforcement divisions of the ATF. Well, they took people from H&R, no, not the mall. They took people from human resources and other clerical stuff, and they reclassified. They didn't change the occupation or what they were doing. They just reclassified those specific individuals as law enforcement individuals, meaning it bumped their pay and compensation in different ways, way more than what they would have made otherwise. And that's actually illegal. It's against the law. So the whistleblowers brought this to the attention in 2018 to Congress. Congress said, okay, what the heck's going on? They bring him in. They slapped the hands of the ATF, and the ATF said, okay, we won't do that anymore. Well, it turns out that they really didn't learn their lesson, and they started doing it again. They just recently, the ATF recently, I think in 2020, it looks like, they got their reclassification abilities back to classify what the employees are, and they started doing it again, misclassifying occupations and overpaying to the tune of tens of millions of dollars to us, to the taxpayers. Again, that's against the law for the ATF to do that. They have not the ability to do this. So they went through, this is from Chuck Grassley, a friend of the Second Amendment, and she is a senator from Iowa. as well as Joni Ernst, which is the other senator from Iowa. So they wrote the ATF this letter saying, hey, we got some FOIA stuff. We need to talk about this, and this needs to stop. So they wrote this good letter, quite a lengthy letter, to Dettelbach and the assistant director, I think, of the Justice Department, something like that. Whoever's in charge on that side as well. Saying, okay, we want all this information, and we want it now. And we want to see how you remedied this from the last time. They also found out that after the whistleblower said something, they were retaliated against by their supervisors, which is also a big deal, right? I'm going to turn this light on. Is this going to be any better? Not really. So if you're just listening on audio, which is totally cool, which is fine, right? But again, video, trying to do more and more on YouTube stuff so people can see me. So I was trying to adjust some light. I guess it's okay. I'm looking at two different screens up here, so it looks okay. You're just going to have to deal with it. All right? Tough stuff. Anywho, so I wanted to read a couple of things. I'm not going to read the whole letter, but they demanded 8 specific things from the ATF. I got to get closer to the mic while I stretch over here and read. Let's see. And we're going to go through each one. I'm going to do my best to read. I'm a little bit more awake than the last time I tried to read this for you guys, so hopefully this goes well. All right. So that we may conduct objective and independent oversight of the ATF's actions and efforts to correct its misclassified law enforcement positions and hold accountable those who engaged in misconduct, please provide the answers of the following no later than February 13th, 2024. By the way, this letter was written January 30th, which was actually the day I tried to record this the first time. Can you tell I'm a little frustrated still? I need to let it go, Steve. Just let it go, all right? Almost sounds like a Disney song. All right, here's the list of 8 things. We'll go through each one. Hopefully I can read them well enough for you guys. You ready? I'm going to do my radio guy voice. Number 1. Has ATF Internal Affairs Division completed its investigation into the circumstances surrounding the implementation and ongoing use of illegal hiring policies and practices? If yes, provide the full unredacted report and related records. If not, why not? 2. What corrective action has the DOJ and ATF taken to hold employees who intentionally misclassified these positions or failed to correct the misclassification of these positions accountable? Provide records of the corrective action taken. 3. From January 2017, let's see, what is it? It's 2024, so it's been happening for a little while. From January 2017 to the present, provide all records between ATF and the JMD, which I had to write this down. The JMD, I didn't write it down. Dang it. Is the joint, this is high class radio right here. That was the whole thing where I was writing this down because I couldn't remember what the JMD stood for. It's the joint, they're all smoking joints there anyways. I thought I wrote it down. Anyway. The joint something or other. ATF and JMD's related, ATF's classification authority and misclassified positions. 4. Concerning Director Dettelbach's November 8th, 2023 notification. A. What changes did the ATF make to address the issues outlined by the OPM audit report? Now, the OPM, I did write that down, is the official personnel management. So people in charge of that stuff. What changes did the ATF make to further modernize its HR function? C. What processes and procedures are in place to prevent position misclassification from occurring in the future? And D, under 4, provide all guidelines, policies, and similar records concerning the ATF's 1800 job series classification, including the ATF Special Agent career plans before and after the OPM audit. I hope they have that information. All right, number 5. OPM identified a litany of misclassified positions and descriptions. Has the ATF conducted a nationwide review of the responsibilities of the employees assigned to the misclassified position descriptions across all of its field offices and divisions to ensure the employees assigned to these positions are performing law enforcement duties? If not, why not? If yes, please provide records evidencing the review and for each individual identified as performing non-law enforcement duties provide? A, the field office division, position, title, organization, series, grade, and position description number. B, the total number of ATF employees employed in misclassified positions performing non-law enforcement duties. And C, under 5C, the total cost of to taxpayers for each individual employed and misclassified in a misclassified position, as well as the amount of excess pay each individual received as a result of its misclassification. Whoa. That's going to be a fun number to read, isn't it? So I'll just keep reading, then we'll go back to this. All right, number 6. Does the DOJ plan to conduct a retroactive review of misclassified positions beyond the 5 years reviewed by OPM? If yes, provide the status of this review and all findings. If not, why not? 7. Prior to the OPM's audit, how often was the ATF required to assess and review its position descriptions and classifications pursuant to the ATF or DOJ regulations, policy, or similar guidance? Was ATF in full compliance? If not, what ATF office and personnel were responsible for ensuring ATF compliance? If yes, provide records to the ATF's compliance. Ooh. All right, and the last one, number 8. According to the National Academy of Public Administration, the JMD requested NAPA, which was that National Academy of Public Administration, NAPA. JDM required NAPA to conduct an independent study of the use of classification authority to the GS-1811 series positions within the DOJ component agencies. In regards to this study, A, provide the date JMD requested the NAPA to conduct the study. B, provide the full unredacted NAPA report with the findings and recommendations. And C, provide all records related to the NAPA study. Thank you for your prompt review and response. If you have any questions, please contact Brian Randolph, the Senator of Senator Grassley's committee staff, and Aaron I'm going to butcher this name, Gottsman. I guess I didn't butcher it too bad. Aaron Gottsman of Senator Ernst's staff. Sincerely, Charles Grassley, ranking member of the committee in the budget. So, what does all this mean? Basically it means, I know it's hard to believe, that the ATF has been misspending money that's for them. Now, I thought about this a lot when I did this original content before I could publish it. If you guys have ever made or been in an organization that makes budgets and has to keep within that budget, now, 2 things happen at the end of the year. Either you have money left over, which means you're under budget, and that's fantastic, right? Or you're exceedingly over budget and you ask for forgiveness later. Now, under the first scenario, as many times as I've been involved with making a budget in an organization, they always say, well, let's hurry and spend this money by the end of the year so we make sure we stay within budget. Because if we use less than what we asked for, we're going to get less the next year. Correct? Am I the only one that's ever experienced this? I doubt it. Now, if they go over budget, which, I mean, it's a rounding error, like hundreds of millions of dollars, that's a rounding error to the federal budget, right? But if they go over budget, then they can ask for more money later. Now, my question is, did these people within these employees of the ATF, were they being paid that extra money, or was that extra money being funneled somewhere else, but they were being allocated that money, the office or the ATF was allocated that money that they misguided or used in a different manner? I would be very curious to find that out. Now, I'm not accusing the ATF of misspending money, but it's obvious that they've done. Like, this isn't an accusation. This happened. Like, this is the second time that the ATF has had to deal with this kind of information. The Senate knows that they do this, yet they just get slapped on the hands, right? It's really frustrating. The other question is, how many other bureaucracies or departments within the federal government are doing this very same thing? Again, are these funds actually going to the classified employees? Or are those classified employees not receiving that extra money, but being paid as their clerical classification, but that extra millions of dollars just being funneled somewhere else? I don't know. I don't know. I'm simply just throwing spaghetti on the wall. But it's very frustrating, right? Very, very frustrating indeed. All right, let's jump to the next story that I wanted to talk about. A few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, I did a live on Instagram. I think it was on Instagram. Pretty sure it was. We'll just say I did it. About Paul Harrel. So if you guys don't know who Paul Harrel is, first of all, shame on you. Or maybe in the last few days, you've seen his name pop up a lot on your Twitter feed or on YouTube or whatever. You should know who Paul Harrel is. Like, he is, first of all, he's a wealth of knowledge for the gun community. He truly is a steward of the Second Amendment. Has been producing videos on YouTube since, I think, for the last 11 years, I want to say, he's been producing videos. And they've all been very good. So I originally thought Paul Harrel was a veteran. He's not. Well, no, excuse me, a law enforcement officer. He is not. He is, however, a veteran, and he is a very experienced person. And he has been educating and teaching firearms for a very long time in the military side and then on the civilian side. His content is awesome, I think. He's a little bit dry. Maybe some folks don't like him, but I find his videos extremely entertaining and very insightful, educational, and amazing. Well, if you don't know, Paul Harrel is battling pancreatic cancer, and it's not looking so hot for Mr. Harrel. Sounds like he's in high spirits. He's doing the best that he can. He recently posted a video saying that this would be his last YouTube video. He turned the channel over to his brother, who I guess had been filming and done a lot of stuff for the channel, just behind the camera or in front of the camera. Behind the camera. You know what I'm saying. Not being shown in the videos. Well, Paul Harrel was kind of stuck around the 800,000 subscription mark for a long time. And as a huge thank you to Paul, a couple other big names in the gun tuber community decided they wanted Paul to hit the 1 million mark. Once you hit 1 million views, or 1 million subscribers, on YouTube, you get a plaque, much like the one I don't have behind me. Maybe one day. Here's hoping. We'll see. Anyway, so it's a big deal for guys and gals, anyways, that produce content on YouTube to have 1 million subscribers. And also helps a lot financially. So, well, maybe it doesn't so much for the gun community. Anyway, last week, Paul hit the 1 million mark. There was a huge drive on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok to get him to the 1 million mark, and it happened. And I think that's amazing. Maybe some of you guys think, well, that's super dumb. My wife actually thought it was stupid that 1 million subscribers, who cares? She doesn't really care about that part of the world. She doesn't like social media anyways. But for somebody within the community to finally come together and work for a goal that is actually going to help somebody financially and emotionally, I would think, in a way that needs to happen. And Paul, I doubt you ever listen to these shows or watch these videos, but if you do, I want to personally tell you thank you. You are amazing. And I hope all goes well as best as they can. You truly are an amazing individual and an important and integral part of the firearms community, at least in this generation. You are a stallion, sir. He's a good dude, super good dude. If you don't know who Paul Harrel is, I want you to jump on YouTube after you listen to the show. Jump on YouTube and just check out his videos. And if you like his content, subscribe and share. He's a really cool guy. He was actually on the bucket list of people I wanted to meet. And I need to just not make a bucket list anymore. Because it seems like every time I want to meet somebody that I think's amazing or has had some kind of an impact in my life, bad things happen to them. The last one that I really, really wanted to meet and things didn't go well was Ken Block. I really, really wanted to shake hands with Ken Block, and sadly, he lost his life last January, I think, actually. So anyway, Paul, you're a stud. We love you, brother. Just be careful. Stay comfortable. And if by some kind of grace you get through this tough time, we're all going to be eternally grateful for it. Anyway, the next thing I had on my list was just dad stuff. I don't remember what I was talking about with dad stuff. So we'll save that. I'll figure that out as we keep recording. But I want to talk to you about something else. Now, living in Idaho is truly amazing. We are a huge, a huge 2A state. We are a very 2A friendly state. Not only to citizens, as you can see, I'm working on my drink here. Not only citizens, but also to 2A businesses. In Idaho, we have CCI, I think still CCI up in Lewiston. We have Lone Wolf Distributing. We have Seekins Precision. We have Primary Weapons. There's so many others. Tactical Solutions. We used to have Gemtech. Gemtech was started in Boise, if you guys didn't know. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to say it. Smith & Wesson bought Gemtech. That's as far as we're going to go. I'm not going to talk anymore about that. Lots of good 2A businesses, and we still have and are getting more and more and more. One of them I'm going to be taking a tour of in a couple of weeks from now. I'll be headed to Boise and go take a tour of Federated Ordnance, which I am absolutely stoked, which is a new ammunition plant in Caldwell or Napa. I can't remember for sure where it's at, but it's huge. They're making brass. They're going to be making primers. They make their own projectiles. Right now, I think they're only making 5.56 and 9, but it's huge. It's a huge facility, and I am excited to take you guys along. We're gonna have some interviews with some friends over there, and we're gonna walk this giant building. It's gonna be so cool. I'm so excited for it. That being said, Idaho is an amazing state. So, somebody we haven't had on the show, and after reading this, I really would like to get him on the show, is a man named Ted Hill. Now, I actually personally know Ted Hill. Gosh, I hate freaking pop-ups. It's a good thing you guys can't see this. No, I don't want to subscribe. I don't care. Good grief. How do I get rid of this stupid pop-up? Oh, now it's not going to let me. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's not going to let me. Are you kidding me? This is great radio. This is what happens. I actually had this window pulled up, and now it is not opening. Let's try this again. That's super lame. Okay, here we go. So Ted Hill, like I said, here we go. Ted Hill is quite a man. We like Representative Ted Hill. He's from Eagle. So when I was working the range over there in Boise at Independence, Ted Hill would come in quite a bit, and I was excited to see him run. He ran and took office when I was there, and he's a pretty cool guy. He's a veteran. He's a pilot. There was a picture of him I saw the other day. I didn't realize he had as much ink on his arms as he does. He's a cool dude. He's a pretty cool guy. Anyway, he introduced a bill, bill number 415, HB 415, which is giving teachers opportunity to carry in schools. So in the state of Idaho, as I understand the law now, in the state of Idaho, the school board can say, yes, we'll allow these teachers to carry in our schools. Some school boards have done that, which is great. But what Bill 415 does is it allows administrators of the said school to allow teachers to carry. Now, before we even jump into this, you may or may not be in favor of this type of legislation. What often happens by the left is they'll say that we're just arming all teachers, and they're too stupid to carry a gun in school, and a student's going to take that gun away and cause a shooting. Obviously, that's not going to happen. We trust our teachers with our children every day already. And unfortunately, things do happen at schools that are not good. Teachers are often not, I don't know how to say this, are too often involved in misconduct with students in all sorts of different ways. We get that. But what this does is it allows teachers that want to carry within the school to visit with the principal and say, hey, I would like to carry in school. And the principal can make that distinction. What some of the folks that didn't like this bill some of the representatives didn't like about this bill is that the school is not required to tell parents that their child's teacher is caring, which honestly I don't want to know. I don't want other people to know, because that makes those teachers a target. And then what's the point of caring if everybody knows you're caring? All right, so I'm going to read some of this. Is from the Idaho Statesman, which is kind of a rag, but we're still going to go through it because I think it's important. Okay. Let's just read this first couple paragraphs. A bill to allow any public school with any public school employee with the enhanced concealed weapons permit, which we can talk about that a little bit more if you want, to carry a gun in the hallways, classes, and lunchrooms across the state, passed the Idaho State House on Wednesday. That's right. It passed. Now it still has to go through the Senate, but the House said, heck yeah, we're all for it, which I'm glad, because there were a lot of folks that I admire in these offices that supported this bill. Even some that I didn't think would vote for pass this bill, but it is an election year, so what do you do? House Bill 415 would require teachers or other employees who want to carry guns to notify the principal, but it does not require them to notify their local school board or students and parents. I don't want my kids to know if their teacher's carrying a gun. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to carry. The principal can say, no, you're not. Okay? It's totally cool. The problem is, so the union for the resource officers, the state resource officers, they're against this bill, which I don't understand why. Our kids are our most important asset towards the future. More than money, more than healthcare, they are the most important asset. We guard our money with guns. We guard our politicians with guns. But we can't guard our children? You're telling me that the resource officers are going to take care of an issue? I got something to say about that, but we'll hold that for a minute. Okay. So Ted Hill said this: terrorism is upon us. Desperate need to secure our schools against this threat. Okay, I'll read this from the top. Terrorism is upon us. I tried to just kind of paraphrase. It didn't work. Terrorism is upon us, Representative Edward Hill of Eagles told other lawmakers on the House floor. He said there's a desperate need to secure our schools against this threat and to close the chasm of vulnerability when it comes to school shootings. Enhanced permits include requirements to be 21 years or older, take an 8-hour course, and submit a background check. Okay, we already know this. And you have to be an Idaho resident for at least 6 months. All right. I personally think, and I know this might frustrate some folks, I personally think that there should be maybe one more layer for these teachers to go through. I know that sounds totally contradictory to what I just said about allowing teachers to carry. I get it. But I teach that class. I teach the enhanced concealed weapons permit class in the state of Idaho. I've taught hundreds of students. Okay. I know the requirements for those classes. Every class I have ever taught, every class I have ever seen in any range ever being taught, only teaches the minimum requirements for that permit. Now, you'll wonder, why do they just require the minimum? Because they only have 8 hours to keep these future concealed carry holders. They only have 8 hours to teach them this class. So you can't cover everything. I personally think that there should be some kind of a retention class required for these folks that are teaching in schools to carry guns. There should be another level of education. Now, there's nothing to say that these teachers can't take these classes on their own, but maybe the schools maybe the principals and the administrators should approach the school boards and say, hey, we want to move some of these funds for these specific teachers that choose to carry. We would like to provide them a way to get a little bit further education. That being said, that also opens up a vacuum for instructors. Maybe it's something I should do to offer a course that's next level for teachers only. Maybe I'll have to do that. here's another quote right here. Idaho House Bill 415 would remove local control from elected school boards to determine which, if any, staff would be allowed to carry firearms on campus. The Idaho Association of School Board Officers, President Morgan Ballas, said in a statement, noting that 95% of school shooters are students who could not be stopped, students who could be stopped if they are identified as threats. This legislation is a drastic misprioritization of statewide school safety initiatives, which focus on response over prevention. Okay, here's my issue with that. I'm guessing that this union president, well, he's a union president, so chances are he's probably got a little bit more left-leaning ideas. Here's the thing. Of all the mass shooters and school shooters that we've had in the last 5 years, we'll narrow it down to 5 years or so. How often do we hear, well, they were on our radar. We knew that they were a threat. We figured there was going to be an issue, but nothing ever happens. We can't just grandstand and say, well, we have to worry about mitigation before they actually act. Well, you need to do something. If there's a problem or a report of somebody having issues, then you need to do something about it. There's nothing wrong with teachers being allowed to carry. Zero. Nothing. I support that 150%. The other thing I love about this bill is that it gives the schools the suggestion to remove their gun-free zone stickers off the doors. Fantastic. Bad people are going to do things no matter what. If a student has the intent of harming other students, they're going to find a way to do it. Look at England, right? They took all the guns away. Now they got stabbing issues. Well, now they're talking about getting rid of knives, but now the bad people still get guns and still get knives and still commit murder. Murder is murder. We can't just talk about doing some kind of a mitigation thing. That doesn't work anymore. That is old think. Law enforcement takes too long to get there to stop a threat. How do I know? Well, let's first talk about Uvalde. Was it 70-something minutes before the cops did a damn thing? You telling me that that's the right response? Where if they had some trained individuals, plainclothes teachers, they at least could have stopped the shooter in some way or maybe deterred him in a way to where the cops were willing to go in. But that's a whole nother story. I think there's a whole nother layer to that issue that is just extremely unfortunate. My eyes are dry, sorry. All right. I mentioned I was going to say something else about school shootings. I think I wouldn't say uniquely qualified to talk about this, because I know there's others that have gone through this very same thing. My child's school had an active shooter situation a few years ago. My child's school. Now, I can tell you straight up that was one of the worst days of my life. The unknown. I think I'm pretty good with a firearm. Probably much better than a student, anyways. But I can't tell you how neutered and worthless I felt where I could not go in to try and save my child. The resource officer wasn't there. There was no funds. There was no metal detectors to mitigate any kind of issue. I'm guessing they have stickers on the doors that say, don't bring guns in here. But yet, that student still chose to bring a gun to school that day. Effing stickers aren't going to stop a kid. Okay? Luckily, I have friends that are federal agents that were there. That were able to find my kid and keep her safe until I could pick her up. So don't tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to school shootings. I know. I know the frustration and fear as a parent. Luckily, and hopefully you listen to this episode, Luckily, there was a teacher there that had the courage. Sorry. Had the courage and the love to stop that student. Nobody died. A couple people got shot, but nobody died. But it came to a bravery of a teacher to stop that shooting. A teacher, not a resource officer, not a police officer, a teacher. That should be a... Now, I know a lot of the anti-argument's going to say, well, that teacher could have just shot the kid and it would have been done. Maybe. Maybe not. We don't know. We could grandstand and stand on the dead bodies like the left always does. But I guarantee you, if a student knows there's going to be some kind of resistance in that environment, they will not, or at least think twice before doing something. The reality is it's not a gun issue. There's something wrong with us socially, spiritually, that's letting these things prevail in the country. We do not have a mass shooting every day. We do not. We've talked about those statistics. I don't buy it. What we do have is a spiritual problem. What we do have is a problem in our homes. Do my kids know how to use firearms? Yep. Now, they're not proficient by any means. Like they couldn't go and run a pistol race by any means. But they understand the destructive power. They understand the safe use. And they understand that Dad keeps his guns locked up. And if they ever want to look at my guns, all they have to do is ask, and I pull them out of the safe. They know if they see a gun somewhere that they don't touch it, and they come tell me. Because I taught them. Because I taught them. As a responsible firearms owner who is a dad, you need to teach your children about the proper use and safety of firearms. Don't let the government think that they have the ability to do that. We see what they're doing with other aspects of our children in society. It's unacceptable. Anyway, I'm 100% in support of Ted and his, of Ted Hill and his, or Ed Hill. Edward Hill. Sorry, Mr. Hill. 100% in support of his bill. And I'm glad that it passed on the House floor. Now we just got to get through the Senate. For what it sounds like, our governor is in support of it. What say you? Would you be comfortable with your teacher carrying in a classroom? Would you support that? Would you support the teacher's opportunity and agency to say, yeah, I want to keep the kids I teach safe? I am 100% in on it. The only thing I'm disappointed, but I did read the text. We're not going to read the text of this bill, but I'm going to put it in the show notes. The principal in the school can actually choose other people, not just teachers, to carry, which I like. Maybe it's time for me to start volunteering at schools. Interesting. Whew. You guys okay? You guys surviving? Good, because we got more. So let's jump to the dad stuff thing, because that's probably a pretty good segue to that. I really don't remember what I talked about the last time. The last episode that you didn't hear. I had to take a drink there. Being a dad is awesome. Being a dad requires a lot of things in our lives. I'm sorry if you're a mom. No, I'm not sorry if you're a mom. Hold on, my mic's going to make some noise here because the wire's all screwed up. I can't figure out why it's making that noise. Maybe you didn't hear it. Being a dad holds a lot of responsibility, right? We're asked to provide for our kids and our families. Can you hear that? Man, that's the... Sorry about that. We got to protect them. We got to provide for them. There's a lot of responsibility when it comes to a dad. Now, looking at the analytics that I can find anyways, the majority of my listeners are men. So I can only presume that a lot of those men listeners are dads too. So this is going to be directed to you. Dad, are you taking your kids shooting? Are you teaching them how to safely use a gun? Do you take them hunting? I have a buddy that took his kids, they're now all teenagers, that took his kids, hunting at a very young age so they could see what firearms do. Now, you might think that's morbid and disgusting, but I promise you, it taught those little kids an important lesson, that guns are not toys, that they're tools. And those tools can be used to provide food and to provide safety. It's important for us to be standing up as dads. I talked about the last few episodes about coming together, and I really feel like this is more and more need than ever before. And I'm sorry if this sounds like just an echo chamber of things over and over again. I get it. I understand it. But we need to come together. Just like the community came together for Paul Harrel, we need to come together and help each other out. I have a feeling that 2024 is going to be extremely difficult for families, specifically families who enjoy their freedoms, whether it be religious freedoms, their Second Amendment, their freedom of speech. I think it's going to be a rough year. But I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. I think it's going to be a year full of opportunity as well. And that's why we need each other so much. Because we can't go it alone anymore. It's really easy to be a closet conservative, to be a closet gun owner. And there's so much negative information being spun and spewed out about the gun. And it's all by design. They're using the exact same strategy as it came with cigarettes. Now, cigarettes have taken far more lives and still take more lives than guns ever will. Cancer is a huge killer in the United States, way more than guns. But they're using the same strategy to make guns look bad and evil and disgusting. Guns are not the problem in the United States. Guns don't cause violence. Whenever I pull a gun out of the safe, I don't immediately think, oh, I'm such a boss, I could go take care of whoever I want. Nope. When I put on my gun in the morning, I think, first of all, I have to tell myself or ask myself, am I willing to use this to defend my life today? And then as I clip it in, I realize I am willing to defend my life or the loved one today. Guns are far more popular in the United States than what is being reported. 500 million guns, roughly, in the United States. We talked about, I think it was an NBC story that said that now I can't remember. There's every half of households have like 1.25 guns per capita, whatever. I can't remember what the story. You'll have to look back on it. I don't remember what episode it's on. Guns are incredibly common. If the gun was the problem in the United States, we would see a totally different scenario. Now, I know they'll say, the left always does, that guns, the United States has a higher gun death rate than any other country. California has a higher pool drowning rate than Alaska. There is no, of course, but our violent crime rate is a lot less. Of course, it's going up in just a few cities. Here's the funny thing: if you took out, was it 5 cities out of the highest per capita death rate, we're like 22nd, or maybe even farther down. I'll have to look up that number. Yeah, we're up so high because of cities that are governed by massive gun control laws, yet the violence and death still happens. But they don't want you to know that. Don't take my word for it. If you don't believe me, look up the gun statistics. Do it yourself. I don't expect you to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to do your own research. So as you do it, you can come to the same conclusion that I did, that it's being spun. I love this country. Flaws and all. I know we're not perfect. The United States has a pretty rough past. Not going to lie. The difference is with the United States is we worked really hard to fix those flaws. Do we still have flaws? Yes, absolutely. But I wouldn't trade this country for anywhere else. I've lived in other countries. Well, one other country. I've lived in Australia. Beautiful place. Super awesome. Man, I could ride a bike every day. Almost every day. But it's not a free country. They have freedoms. They have the ability to do a lot. But it's not free like the United States. The problem is our freedoms are being manipulated. I wish I had the answer to fix that. I don't. It's rough. It's sad. It's terrible. Again, that's why we the people, need to unite. Think of those first 3 words. The Constitution, we the people. That's the remedy to all this. E pluribus unum, right? With one, many. Or with many, one. That's what it is. With many, one. We the people. Don't be scared to talk about your gun ownership. Where's a badge of honor? Maybe it's because I don't mind rocking the boat a little bit. It doesn't bother me. We're a special people. Are there stupid gun owners? Yeah, I've ran ranges before. I've seen a lot of these idiots. I get it. I just watched a short on Facebook or YouTube or something of these kids skateboarding, right? And this jackass pulls up and pulls a gun and tells them to get out of here. Yeah, that's wrong. That's called assault. And I hope that dude went to jail. Wearing a gun does not make you a cowboy. It doesn't make you a problem solver. It makes you more accountable. So your actions have to be at a higher level. And that's what I talk about when I teach the enhanced class. That you will be held to a higher standard and you have to live to a higher standard. It's not a privilege, it's a right. And we need to keep our rights. Ooh, sorry. Guess I'm a little stuffed up. You can probably tell I'm a little stuffed up. Side note, I went to the doctor the other day. Is this a HIPAA violation? I'm not going to tell you who my doctor was. Went to the doctor the other day. I know I have a sleep issue. I'm always tired. You can probably see it in my eyes. The other day, well, it's because I was up late trying to upload a stupid video, but I was so exhausted. It was unbelievable. Dark circles under my eyes. I used to not wear my Apple Watch to bed, so I started to wear it just to keep track of my sleep. And apparently I don't sleep at all, or my watch is broken, one of the two. It shows that I'm in bed, but I apparently I slept like 13 hours last week. So that's a problem. And he was telling me, the doc was telling me that not only do I got a little extra fluff, around, which constricts the airway, but I probably need to get the old tonsils and adenoids out. That's pretty fun. We'll see. I'm gonna have a sleep study. We'll see. I already know I have apnea. I don't even have to guess. I know I have it. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted if you even care. I don't even know why I brought that up. Oh yeah, because my I noticed like stuffiness and stuff. So I wondered if that had something to do with my apnea, my alleged apnea. I don't know yet. Should we talk about something a little bit lighter? I'm going to keep you guys for about 5 more minutes or so, 4 more minutes. Then it keeps us right around an hour. Because remember, you're getting 2 episodes for the price of 1. Whew. So, Instagram. No, not Instagram. TikTok. I started a TikTok for the show. And there's only a few posts on there, but I posted another one. I actually posted this picture on Instagram as well because TikTok said no. It said I was engaging in prohibited trafficking of controlled substances. I didn't post any kind of controlled substance for sale. But what I did do is I acquired a fake book. It's Tolstoy, right? War and Peace. And it just so happens that as you open this fake book, I put a piece of foam in there. And it just so happens that it's a perfect size for my Model 27 Smith, a little 38 special. Perfect size. So look for that on Instagram. Maybe like it and share it because I think it's awesome. No, I don't keep the gun in the book. I'm not an idiot. It just looked cool. Anyway, so I posted a video of it on the TikTok. Boom, right away. I got a flag right away. Like it didn't even hit it didn't even make it onto my page. Like boom, right away, violation. Which I should know because Nick's had issues with holsters on there, which is stupid because he doesn't sell guns either. He just sells holsters. And then I realized something today too. So here's another lighter note, side story, side note, BS, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember if it was on a live or maybe it was on the show I recorded. I completely screwed up. I called Nick's holster by the wrong name. Completely screwed up. Hopefully it was on the show that never made it. But I have a feeling it was on a live, and it makes me feel like a real jackass. So if you have ever jump onto Hoftech Industries, Nick's been making holsters for a long, long time. He's part of the show. You've heard him talk about his story a little bit. He's been a guest more than once. Solid holster guy. Okay. I really appreciate him. Anyway, actually my daily carry is in the Hoftech holster. Anyway, so he came out with this new design. It's the Omni Carry. It's been around for a couple of years now, I think. Maybe just a year. It's been around for a little while. But it's the Omni Carry. It's pretty rad. It fits like 300 different styles of firearms. It's pretty rad. He even has an optic cut on him now. So it's pretty rad. I think I called it by the wrong name. I'm not going to call it by the wrong name again. But if you're looking for an option for a gun, he actually had a booth at SHOT this year. I was kind of bummed I didn't go with him, but it is what it is. Next year is going to be off the chain, by the way. I am definitely going to SHOT next year. Another side note to the side note. So anyway, if you're looking for a holster that maybe you have a hard time finding one that you like specifically, check it out. It's the Omni Carry. You can jump on Hoftech Industries, hoftech.com, and you can see it. Check it out. There's lots of little extra options on there that help you appendix carry or side carry, however you choose. It's a pretty neat holster. There is a definite retention. It's not just like the gun bucket you find at a major box store. There is a connection, definite click with the retention. He's worked hard on it, and I'm actually pretty proud of this kid. He's pretty stellar. While you're there, tell him that Range Minded sent you, because we want to sell holsters. I want him to sell holsters. I have nothing to do with the sales. I just want him to. I want his product to be out there because it's awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh man, that was 5 minutes already. Judas. All right. Last thing. We're all Americans. Left, right, middle, it doesn't matter. We are all Americans. That being said, well, of course, there might be some of you outside of the United States. For the Americans, let me just isolate my audience a little bit. We're Americans. We're meant to be a family. We need to be working on that a little bit better. Yes, we're completely dysfunctional. I get it, but we're still family. Please take somebody shooting. Share your passion and love for the Second Amendment with those around us. There are an absolute butt ton of new gun owners in the United States, first-time gun buyers. Millions and millions of guns were sold last year, and a lot of those to first-time buyers that need help in the community, but they're probably a little too scared to ask for help because they're kind of new and they think it's embarrassing. When you're at the range, it's pretty easy to tell who might be new. Just go up and help them. Okay. I know some indoor ranges, they don't like kind of cross conversation sometimes. Don't have to be weird about it, but just strike up a conversation. It's okay to be friendly at the range. Just follow the rules. You'll be good. I know the two ranges that I used to work, there were some rules about handling firearms. It's pretty easy. You just follow the rules, but it's okay to have a conversation with folks. It's okay to take your friend that might be a little less gun friendly to the range or out in the desert or whatever to shoot. It's cool. Don't be scared of who you are and your rights. It's that fear that causes the problem. Anyway, I love you guys. You guys mean a lot to me. Again, if you liked this content, please like, share, leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. I appreciate it. I appreciate every little bit of help that I can get. We have a lot of goals this year. We have a lot of milestones that we want to hit in 2024, and without you guys, it won't be possible. So if you're willing to help out, please help out. If you want to reach out to the show in any way whatsoever, again, you can comment on the YouTubes, or you can just jump to our website, rangemindedpodcast.com. There's a way to talk to us. There's actually links to our social media feeds there as well. You can email. If you want to email me, write this down, stevez@rangemindedpodcast.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas or you want to see a guest on the show, just holler. We'll make it happen. Well, at least we'll try to make it happen. Okay. Excuse me. That was a last minute burp. Great audio and video. All right. Peace out. Love you guys. And take somebody shooting.